July 14th, 2016, Yellowstone National Park. Ranger Daniel Holt sat at the edge of his bunk in the ranger station, tapping his pen against a worn leather logbook. It was a quiet night, that is, until the frantic call came in. 3 campers from Site 17 reported something circling their tents, something more than just an animal. They said the wind was still, but leaves were rustling as if a massive shape passed between the trees. Daniel glanced at his watch. 11:25 p.m. The station's radio crackled with static, then went silent. Another missing camper call? Not unusual. This was Yellowstone, after all. Towering pines, deep ravines, wildlife. People vanished more often than anyone liked to admit. He grabbed his flashlight, stepped outside into the chilled air, and jotted a quick note. Heading to Site 17, unconfirmed disturbance. By 11:47 p.m., Daniel filed his last official log entry. Perimeter check complete. No sign of the missing campers at Site 17. Wind's picking up. Something feels off. His voice quavered on the recording, as if he sensed someone, or something, watching him. Then the static surged, and everything cut to silence. By dawn, Daniel Holt was gone. No footprints, no signs of a struggle. Even his ranger-issued truck was missing from its usual spot behind the station. A frantic search began immediately. The team pored over every trail near Site 17, shining flashlights under fallen logs, calling Daniel's name. The only clues they found: the campers' tents were torn apart, gear strewn across damp earth, and a single trail of large impressions in the mud, too wide to be human footprints, but not quite bear prints either. 3 days later, another ranger on patrol discovered Holt's truck at the fringe of a secluded dirt path nearly 20 miles north of Site 17. The keys hung in the ignition, and the engine was completely dead. The radio was turned on, but all it transmitted was eerie static. Every few seconds, the static warped into faint whispering, like a plea for help, or a distant echo of Daniel's voice. That night, one of the search party members swore she heard the same static-laced whisper drifting through the pines near her campsite. Official reports labeled Daniel Holt's disappearance as an unresolved incident, a bureaucratic label meaning they had no explanation. Rangers at Yellowstone were hardened folks, used to injuries, rogue animals, lost hikers. But Daniel's case struck a nerve. He had served as a ranger for over a decade, meticulously documenting weather patterns, tracking local wildlife, and aiding countless lost travelers. His logbook, found in ranger stations, told the tale of a calm beach, an unsettling presence, and those short, haunting last words. Residents in nearby towns whispered rumors about the deeper corners of Yellowstone, places untouched by official trails, places where the trees seemed too old, the silence too profound. Folklore spoke of a giant silhouette moving between the pines, staying just out of sight. Over the years, hikers had reported glimpses of something that walked upright but moved far faster than any human could. A few shrugged it off as myth, perhaps an overactive imagination fueled by the wilderness. Others insisted there was a reason certain parts of the park were best left unexplored. A month passed before a volunteer, combing a remote part of the forest, stumbled upon Daniel's ranger hat. The brim was torn, the band stained with a dark substance that lab tests couldn't identify. Scattered pine needles and the faint outlines of that same giant footprint encircled the area. The volunteer reported hearing a low growl reverberate through the trees, followed by a flicker of movement, like a shadow gliding out of sight. Rumors and ghost stories multiplied. Some claimed Daniel's spirit was wandering Yellowstone, searching for the lost campers. Others believed he'd encountered a creature unknown to science, an apex predator defending its territory. Official statements repeated phrases like, "No evidence of foul play," yet off the record, rangers confided to each other that the forest felt different, as if an unspoken warning clung to the air. Shortly after, visitors who ignored closure signs at Site 17 brought back children. At night, footprints far larger than human tracks, and that same unnerving static crackle on their radios. One group claimed to glimpse a figure, tall and broad, peering at them from a ridgeline before vanishing into the swaying pines. To this day, Daniel Holt's file remains open. The Park Service rarely speaks of it, other than to warn hikers not to stray from marked trails. Those who dare to ask about the official reports quickly find them heavily redacted, with entire pages blacked out. Yet the final log entry remains. Winds picking up. Something feels off. A simple statement that captured the very essence of the unknown lurking in Yellowstone's untouched shadows. So what truly happened to Ranger Daniel Holt? No one knows for certain. Yellowstone spans over 2 million acres, much of it rarely seen by human eyes. Where nature reigns supreme, secrets lie in wait among the towering pines, swirling mists, and moonlit clearings. Perhaps Holt discovered something that night, something he was never meant to see, something old, something hidden, something that ensures only silence remains in its wake. Because in the end, the wilderness answers to no one, and those who venture too far into its heart may never return to tell the tale.